Alright, so I think that's it. All the mud's off and we're gonna start heading down the road. So at this point we're heading back to Leeton. Let's do it. Epic fail.
Says he'll make me a star if I just play the game. But that man doesn't know that I am bulletproof. Keep one foot on the sky and a foot on the roof. I'm not doing this to try to make a name. I just like the way it feels on it, the way it looks on me. Still got the fire when you try to be a flood, 'cause I like the Sunday, that little rush, rush, rush of blood. I hear your secrets, I know your plans. Ain't no way out without your blood on my hands. I talk to demons, I scream your name. They always say the best for the businessman. I'm not doing this to try to make a name. I just like the way it feels on it, the way it looks on me. Still got the fire when you try to be a flood, 'cause I like the way it feels on it, that little rush, rush, rush of blood. That rush of blood, I'll use it for good. That rush of blood, I'll use it for good. Throwing hundreds in the holy water, just a backseat driver flying undercover. Different faces, but they're always the same. Say they'll make you a star if you'll just sign your name. But that man doesn't know that we are bulletproof. Keep one foot on the sky and a foot on the roof. I'm not doing this to try to make a name. I just like the way it feels on it, the way it looks on me.
That's it. That's it. First and last adventure ride, folks. Stage 1 done. Yeah, you still got the long stretch. Cool. Made it to Leeton. Just 400 Ks back to Canberra to go. All right, well, it's about 6:50, I think, on day 4, back in Leeton. So really, it's just from here back to my place about 400 Ks. I think probably about 380 or something. And that's the final leg of the journey. Really, so I'm just gonna get packed up and head back. The only thing is, I still have this clutch issue, so I can only do about 90 Ks an hour. It should be smooth sailing, so I don't expect too much to go on between now and then. But I'll get back, I'll get the bike cleaned up, and then we'll see if we can get into the mechanic and have a look and hopefully find out what's wrong. Hopefully it's nothing serious, but it's got to get sorted so we can get back on the road and get to the next trip. All right, let's do it. Just stopped for some coffee. The bike is still running like just complete rubbish. I basically can't get out of 3rd gear. So I hit 4th, and then that's pretty much it. So I'm about sitting on about 80, 85. I still have about 220 Ks, 210 Ks to go. I don't even know what town this is. It really sucks actually, because I had a full week set aside for this trip, and 4 days in, well, I mean, I don't know if you can count the first day and today. I mean, I don't really count today as like day 4, I guess, but I mean, we should have been out there, like really, we should have been sitting in White Cliffs right now. All right, coffee break's over. Time to get back to work. Click it back into 3rd gear and just get on the highway and make it happen. All right, well, I just got back, jumped in the shower, had some lunch. My GoPro cut out like the last hour, so I couldn't even capture that last little bit of footage. Man, I am absolutely smoked. My back is killing me. Sinuses are stuffed. And for some reason it was freezing on the way back, so my core temperature just feels like it's quite low. But anyway, I'm absolutely wiped out. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is, I haven't even unloaded the bike. I'm going to just ring around to some mechanics and see if I can get the bike in. Normally, like for the oil changes and stuff, I'll do that myself. I did the oil changes, like I did the jet kit, I did the bark busters, heated grips, I did all that stuff myself. Brakes I could probably do, I'm not too worried about that. But I think for something like this, I just don't even know where to start. Like I don't, I'm not mechanically inclined, so I don't know what I'm supposed to, where I sort of begin. But I think it would be good to have a professional actually look the bike over anyway, because man, it just goes to show you mechanically, if you're out, especially in a remote areas like we were, as soon as you have any sort of mechanical issue, you're done. You know, the ride's over. So I don't have a mechanic per se, but I was going to ring these guys, Delitz, and yeah, and see if these guys are any good. Let's see what we can do.
Charles, Motorcycles, Greg speaking.
Hey, Greg. Good afternoon, mate. How you going?
Good.
Hey, I just wanted to see kind of what your availability is like. I've got a Suzuki DR650, and I think I may have done a clutch.
Okay.
Yeah, and I basically...
Is it what did you just slip in, is it?
Yeah, well, I got bogged down in some mud pretty bad, and then after I got out, I basically can't get into fourth or fifth gear. I've got, like, I'll pull the throttle down, and there's almost no response.
With your clutch cable adjustment,
Yep.
up at your lever is probably the easiest place. There should be a little bit of free travel on your lever, or is it like piano wire tight?
It's a little bit tighter now. There was some play, but I tried adjusting in both points up at the bars, and yeah, no luck.
It still slips. Yeah, okay. Righto, well, okay, the thing to do,
Yep.
I've just done 2 in 2 weeks. Some guy was trying to pull his tractor out with it.
Oh,
anyway,
shit.
Anyway, yeah, okay, so generally you need your friction plates, steel plates, and springs and a gasket, right?
Yep.
It's hopefully it's done no damage anywhere else. But well, I don't know. You can bring it in any time, really.
Yeah, okay.
We probably get into it the next day and then order some parts what we need. So
Yeah.
it's hard to say what we need.
Oh, okay. All right. What? Maybe I could even just drop it off the Savo then.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Do that more.
Yeah.
We'll have a
Beauty.
look at it hopefully tomorrow or Wednesday.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Too
order
easy.
some parts. I'll let you know.
Yeah. Beauty. All right. What time do you guys close?
5:30.
Cool. All right. I'll give this thing a wash just so it's cleaned up a bit, and then I'll swing past.
Okay, mate.
All right. Thanks, Greg.
All right.
Okay. See ya. Well, there you go. Yeah, I don't know what it could be. I guess we'll find out when we go in there. Clutch plates, whatever. But I guess whatever did happen to it, I'm going to at least try to get him to walk me through what happened. And then also kind of maybe how I can diagnose it in the future. Maybe there's a chance to upgrade the clutch. Maybe there's like a heavy duty clutch or clutch plate or something I can put in as well. Because, yeah, it's probably something I did. Well, I mean, sure, it's definitely something I did. I probably was just on the clutch too much. I probably burned it out when we were stuck in that mud. But again, you know, brand new rider, and I guess this is the cost of the lesson, right? You're gonna pay for the lesson one way or the other. You're either gonna pay someone to teach you and to spend the time with you, or you're gonna pay when you're out there on the track, which is what happened. Pretzel, hey, when you're out there on the track, come in. And I bet if I had Pretzel with me, she would have sorted it out straight away by barking at the bike. Anyway, yeah, so I'll get the bike cleaned up and then give it a quick pressure wash. And then, yeah, we'll head down to Greg over at Delitz and see if he can sort it out. Sooner the better. And, yeah, all right, let's give it a go.
I'm gonna chase, and I'm gonna
if you smell the cap or the
Yeah, with the oil on it. It's definitely burnt out. Well,
the clutch is
burnt oil and burnt clutch,
yeah, because I think, like, I changed it before we left. There's probably about 2,000 Ks, but like I was saying, like, it's just all off-road, and the riding was really fucked.
Yeah, and so when you put it under power, say in top gear, it slips, does it?
So I can get all the way to third, and at the top end of third, there's nothing, and then when I get into fourth, it'll just rev, and there's nothing.
Okay, so we've got to pull that off.
Yep.
Put new clutch plates in it. Well, I'll let you know tomorrow. Probably tomorrow or the next day.
Or Wednesday,
what's going on. And
so basically, it's pretty fucked, you know.
Well, it's pretty easy to fix. It's going to need new oil.
Yep.
New clutch plates. I'll show you on the together.
Yep.
You've got steel and friction plates.
Yep.
Right? So generally, what happens is these burn out.
Yep.
So it's a good idea to replace all those plates.
Yep.
And that plate there.
Oh,
I just did so approximately 700 to 750 bucks.
Yep.
If it needs all that.
All right.
If it doesn't need all that, well, it will be less.
And is that like, I mean, is there a heavier duty clutch plate or?
You can get heavy duty springs.
Okay. What would that?
Well, that that holds it together better.
Yep.
And it's for, if you're really giving it a hard time, it's not a bad idea. And they're not much. They're only about $6 each, and there's 4 of them.
Can I put, if we need those, can we upgrade those?
Okay, so Carl's got all your details?
Yeah, he's got everything in the book.
I'll probably get it tomorrow, maybe Wednesday.
Yeah, beauty.
Pull it apart, let you know what you need, and we can go from there.
Beauty. Yeah, thanks for that.
This is all your old burnout plates, but also your actual clutch basket needed machining up and doing. We replaced all your burnout clutch and springs.
Oh yeah.
That's just a lock washer.
Yeah, okay.
So it's all burnt out here, or they're all black, burnt out. See, it's burnt right, the friction plates right off. So the actual basket itself too needed machining up, where these all slide into.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So do you think, and be honest, like if it was like the thing that I don't get, because I've been riding street bikes for 20 years.
Yeah.
This is my first adventure bike. This is literally like the first big ride I've done.
Yep.
And I, understand I'm an amateur, but like realistically, do you think that those maybe already had a fair bit of wear on there, or do you think I actually just?
It's hard to say.
Yeah. Okay.
Depends if you've ridden a long time without the clutch being adjusted right. That will do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Or if you're doing a lot of heavy, like trying to get out of mud or.
Yep.
See that? You got to have that free travel. See that just here? Bring your camera around if you like.
Yep.
See that free travel there?
Yep.
Always got to have that. If it's tight, it's holding those clutch parts apart. Clutch parts apart a bit, and it burns out. So you've got to keep that adjustment there.
Yep.
Now you can either adjust it there.
Yep.
Or you can also adjust it down here.
Oh, you can adjust it here.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay. Because I thought, because I did the first one on the top, then
so
this.
It starts to tighten up, and you need more.
Yep.
You can adjust it on this piece here.
Okay.
You can move that arm. But on the spline there, see?
Yep.
But adjust most of it up there until you've got no trouble at all. Then adjust your arm.
Yeah, beauty.
Yeah. Two adjusts, one with the lever and one just at the cable a bit further down.
Yeah, down there.
There's another one there.
This one here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you got 3 places, so you can adjust it there, and if it gets really bad, you can just adjust your arm around.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's always got to have at least that little bit of travel there.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. If it's tight, it's going to burn out again.
Yep. Alright, that's it guys. Back in action. Here we go. Oh, that clutch feels good. like a new bike. I'm a new man, I'm a new rider. No limits now, I can do anything.
Nothing around us, just flames in the fire.
Straight to the cafe for a coffee for me.
Night to burn like me for you. Covered in wonder, sweet in the silence. Oh, we'll keep running and we'll keep running. Leave your worries and your suitcase. Oh, you don't need nothing but you. So don't throw your arms, start wishing well. Let your heart stay inside, carry you. Come and sail with me to the open ocean. Forget to have to dream because there's you. Leave your worries and your suitcase. Oh, you don't need nothing but you.
Well, we have arrived. We're back. I figured I'd do a quick post-mortem just to kind of wrap up the trip, talk about my learnings on the bike, my learnings on the trip, and yeah, and sum things up. I mean, all in all, it ended up being about $1,000 to fix the clutch, which included the clutch and some machining of some parts, oil change, oil filter, all that stuff. I think the parts alone were like $650 or something. So look, it ended up being a little bit expensive, but you know, that's just the cost of the lesson. I was trying to think about how much of that I did versus was there already some wear on the clutch. I mean, I'm not gonna make it some external locus of control and say, well, the clutch was already stuffed. I'm not gonna do that. I mean, realistically, I melted the clutch. There's no question. You can see, I think when we had that first stop and you can hear the engine revving about 25 Ks in, that's when it happened. And yeah, I mean, I guess that's part of being a brand new rider. It's part of riding in mud and being a brand new rider, and it's part of being a new adventure rider. I mean, I've been riding bikes for, 20 years off and on, and I've never had an issue with a clutch on a street bike. And it just goes to show this is not a street bike. It's very different riding conditions. And anyway, good experience. I learned a lot about where to put stuff on the bike. I had, like when I first set out, I had my tools buried in the panniers, and kind of looking now, when I had the panniers set up here, it didn't make sense to have the tools at the bottom of the panniers. I eventually moved the tools to the pouch in the back and on the side. That made a lot more sense, especially because we were stopping a lot. So I think that was a good adjustment. There were a couple other things about where I stowed stuff, like my jacket, being able to have certain things on top in that duffel bag. So I moved stuff around there, and probably not needing so much water. I had like 4 liters, actually 1.5, probably 3, probably close to 6 liters of water right in the front. I just didn't need access to that much water. So again, pulling some of the water away, maybe 1 refill on the Camelback or something like that, and then leaving the rest of the space there for tools. What else? I think with respect to the actual trip that we took, like I had a point in the map, and then I sort of said I want to kind of go to Mungo, and then I'd love to come up through Mungo and then head up to Silverton. And a lot of people would say, well, you need to plot out every path. This is a personal thing for me. I don't want to do that. I don't want to sit and plot out every single track. And yeah, I understand that it means there's going to be backtracking. It means you're getting into bad situations. But my thinking is just like, well, that's part of the adventure, like getting lost, you know, figuring out where you're going. I mean, it's nice to have the GPS for some of the, like the big points from point A to point B in terms of the bitumen and stuff like that. But then once you get off the dirt, into the dirt, well, I mean, I think, you know, pull out a paper map. I like that idea of using a paper map, and then just kind of figuring it out as you go. I mean, that's the fun of it for me, anyway. So yeah, I don't think I'd change any of that. I knew the conditions were bad going into it, but I still wanted to have a crack. I mean, we didn't get very far. It's okay, but I learned a lot. I learned a lot about where to put my tools. I learned a lot about myself on the bike. I learned a lot about the bike. And I think that's the whole thing. I think in order for me to get better, and I'm not fronting, I'm not acting like I'm a great rider. I'm not. I'm an amateur. I'm brand new. And for me, I guess to learn is about putting myself in a situation where I can grow and I can make mistakes. I can screw up. I can burn out a clutch. I can do all those things. And that's another reason why I chose this bike, because I knew I was going to drop it a lot. I knew I was going to break things. I knew I was going to make mistakes. I knew I was going to screw up a lot. And I didn't want to go out and buy some expensive bike thinking, oh yeah, let me buy the top of the line bike, and then go out in the dirt and wreck it. I mean, that just because of my particular style, I'm a bit reckless. So it doesn't make sense for me to buy a nice bike because I'm probably going to drive it off a cliff at some point. Not while I'm on the bike. I'll ghost ride it off a cliff, actually. But anyway, so I learned a lot about that. And yeah, I think I'm quite keen to get on the road, get to the next ride. I do have to do a few things. I want to pull the tank off, just, you know, not double check. I want to service the air filter, clean that up. There's a few bits and bobs like on the dashboard that I noticed on the dash with the bars, some loose bits in here. I do need to make another adjustment on the actual bars themselves. I might check out a new headlight. Maybe I might do a headlight. Otherwise, I think most stuff is pretty good, but I just want to go back and tighten some nuts and bolts, do a quick once over, and then yeah. So all in all, I think it worked out pretty good. Oh, the other big piece of learning was the GoPro. The way that I had the GoPro mount, so I had this mount, and it doesn't, like, it's really kind of a nightmare to turn and adjust this, and I can't take this off. So every time I wanted to pull off the GoPro, I had to unscrew it from here. And so what I did now is I've got a clamp, and I can just clamp it on the bar. So like I'm holding it now, clamped on the bar, and now when the idea is, okay, boom, now I'm set up, I'm in position, and this thing I can spin pretty easily. So as I'm moving around, I can spin it, put it in position, I can stop, I can pull it off, and there we go. Now I haven't tested this where I'm actually riding. It looks pretty snug, and I'm hoping it's not, and it even has a little like a rubber grip belt or something in there to snug it up, so I'm hoping that'll work. But anyway, that's another adjustment I wanted to make to the GoPro. Probably need a couple more batteries, things like that. But that's what it's all about. Test and learn, test and learn, test and learn, iterate, and get better over time. So anyway, pretty happy with stuff otherwise. I think my seat's okay. I was pretty happy with that. Otherwise, general soreness and general bike fitness. So where to from here? I think the thinking now is there are two things that give me a bit of anxiety. One is the tires. And it's not the tires themselves, it's about how I deal with a flat tire. So if I do pop a tube, and I've got tubed tires on, I've got tubes with tubeless tires, okay? So if I do get a flat out there in the bush, how am I going to deal with it? That's something that gives me a lot of anxiety. I have a couple tire irons, but I have not changed a tire. I have not repaired a tube. So I think one of the things I'm going to do in the next week is I'm going to take this thing out in the bush. No, sorry, I'm not going to take it out in the bush. I'm going to take this thing apart in the garage. I'm going to pull the front tire off. I have a heavy duty tube for both the front and rear. I'm going to put the heavy duty tubes in, see what tools I need, see how I go through the motions of changing it, change the tube while I've got all my tools and everything here, and then make sure I'm comfortable doing it. So I'll do both the front and rear. The other thing that gives me a lot of anxiety, especially because I'm planning on doing a fair bit of solo riding, is what happens in the event that I go down. And as much as as much as I don't want to think that that's going to happen, it's going to happen, or it has a very high likelihood of happening. I'm quite a conservative rider, even though it probably doesn't look like that. But even still, I need to be able to deal with that. So I've got a sat phone and I have a beacon. I have my GPS, but there are things like I don't know like how to pull up my lat and longitude on the sat phone or my sat nav. I don't know, like I've had issues with the sat phone working in the past. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bike out to the bush, and I'm actually going to simulate a stack, right? I'm going to actually lean the bike over. I'm going to lean the bike over onto my leg, not to the point that I can't really get out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the motions. Where's my beacon? Can I access my sat nav? What can I access? How do I pull up my lat longitude? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to ring my wife, and I'm going to actually give her my coordinates and just see if she can find me based on those. And at least that way I can test run it, and I think I have to, because that's another bit of anxiety. You know, I've seen just recently, I love to watch Mongrel Dog. He's amazing, Steve Bly, and one of his mates broke a leg, and he was doing a solo trip through, I don't know if it's the Canning Stock Run, basically just one of the desert runs, and broke a leg. He was about 185 Ks in, solo, broke his leg, and he had to basically get help. And so again, I think if you're gonna ride solo, you, especially in my case, I better damn well get comfortable dealing with solo issues. Can I access my beacon? Can I access my sat nav? How do I pull up my GPS coordinates? Is my sat phone working? All those kind of things. What are my own procedures? My first aid kit, this is another thing, didn't have antiseptic. It didn't have burn cream. I don't have a snake bite kit in there. So there are things I've got to look at my first aid kit, and I think the best way to do that is to just go in the bush and simulate that. So my plan is for next week to do those things. Put the heavy duty tubes on, for sure, and then take the bike out in the bush and simulate what it would be to have this bike sitting on top of me, crushing a leg, me with the broken leg, me with the broken arm. Can I get to the beacon on both sides? And I'll film all that just so we have it. But otherwise, that was it. I think it was a lot of fun. It was a great experience, and it was the first of many. I have to do some thinking about where the next trip is going to go. I might grab my mate Luke for the next trip. He's ex-Army as well, ex-logistician. So he's a hard ass. He's a great mate, and we've already gotten into a bit of trouble in terms of the bikes before. So I might grab him, and Anthony's obviously keen to go again as well. But I want to do some solo riding just to make sure that I'm especially hard. You know what I'm talking about? So anyway. Look, just thought I'd close out the session, say thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope there was some fun moments. I hope there was some laughter in there for you. And look, I'll just keep iterating. If you have feedback, please leave it in the comments. And for those of you watching the live session, thanks very much. I'll try to make sure I attend, obviously, all the premieres. That's the fun of the premiere. So if you guys are in there, jump in. Let's have some banter. Let's have some fun. And otherwise, stay safe, guys. Ride safe. And hopefully I see you out on the track. So we'll see you around. Thanks a lot.